Welcome to Business Notes. I'm your host, Diane Bogino. Our guest today is Joshua Greco. Joshua is a MindScan certified business coach for individuals and leadership teams. With over a decade of business development experience in the logistics and construction industries, Joshua brings a passion to developing people professionally, personally, and spiritually. Joshua, welcome to Business Notes and thank you for being on the show today.
Diane, I am so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you are welcome. I want to jump right in with I want you to tell me what MindScan certified coach is because I'm concerned about mind scanning from anybody.
Sure. So yeah, MindScan is nothing more than an assessment that we use in our what we call an awareness phase as a coach. So in order to bring people up, to elevate them to the next level of what they're trying to achieve, whether that be success or income or wealth or fulfillment, we have to first be able to know where they are in their process. So the MindScan is just a simple assessment of ranking statements in order from what we call least to greatest or best to worst. And it's different for everybody. Everybody's going to view statements in a different light based on the experiences they've had in their life. And the results are based in what's called formal axiology, which is nothing more than the study of what is good, the study of value systems. So the way a unique person ranks these statements will tell us about their thoughts. And I think that's so cool.
Yes, and self-assessment is really important for many, many things, including leadership. So that certainly fits in with what you're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you've also talked about rebel energy. What is that all about?
Yeah, rebel energy is what I call, getting back in touch with who we really are as people. Very often throughout our lives, we're told we can't do things, or that we shouldn't do things, or that it's not right to do certain things that we know in our heart is right. It's right for us. And usually most of these people we care very much for. We love them. It's our family, it's our parents, it's our siblings, and we have so much respect for them that we respect their wishes. And in the meantime, we sacrifice our own. So sometimes getting back to that rebel energy just means getting back in touch with who we are. And I think over this past year, there's been a lot of introspection because of the pandemic and because of what's going on, that people are really figuring out what's important to them. And they're having a lot of conversations internally and externally about what's important. And a lot of people are getting back to that rebel energy on their own. But I've found, I've helped a lot of clients, excuse me, that I coach, that just after a few conversations, they know this about themselves. And then it's almost like I just create the space to have the freedom to get back to it, that rebel energy.
Right. That's a good point, Joshua, because when we're growing up, people will say, don't do that. You're not going to make any money at that. Or that's not what our family does for a living, or all of those things. And they look at us as rebels, but really we're not. We're fulfilling what is true, our touchstone, in other words. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. There's home videos of me growing up as just like needling my brothers and, thinking I'm off camera, and I do something, sneaky to annoy somebody. And that's just me. It's just who I am. And, I can learn to channel that for positive and for good. But, I obviously was reprimanded several times over the years for doing things like that. But I'm an obstructor. I kind of ruffle the feathers of the normal, and I need that. And I got away from that for a few years, and that's how and why I help people to get back to that, because that's who I am as a person. And of course, my parents, who love me dearly, told me that that's maybe not the best way to do it. And nothing against them, right? But I have to get back to my own energy, where I'm at my best, and how I can most positively influence the world. And with the work that I'm doing, I have to get my own rebel energy back.
Good for you. And you do have your own podcast. So I'd like you to talk about that.
Yeah, it's called Truth Seekers. It's about success principles in business. And it's about people who share their stories about getting their rebel energy back. A lot of the guests we have on are people who are looking for that financial independence and some autonomy with making money or extra streams of income. And there's a lot of great people with unbelievable visions out there for their company and mission statements for what they're trying to do and accomplish. And surprisingly, maybe not to some people, but it's not all about making money. You know, there's a lot of great entrepreneurs and business people out there that want to do really good things in the world. And I think that comes out of having a lot of bad things and recognizing there's problems, and you know, it's the people who see those as opportunities to develop a market out of that I really admire, and I love working with those types of people, and we love having them on our podcast. So I host it with a fellow coach. His name is Nick Davies, and we have a third person on, just talk about success and business principles, and try to identify things for our listeners by the end that they can identify or apply to their own lives.
Right. You know, sometimes, Joshua, people will, that I'm coaching will say, well, the money's not important and I don't want to make a lot of money. And I say, look, the more money you make, the more people you can help. And that sounds like what your podcast is about.
Absolutely. I follow this principle that money follows the value. Okay. So if you're not making money or you want to make more money, you have to create value for people to pay you for it. Every single business that was ever established is about people either making their life more convenient or solving a problem for them. And people pay good money for that. And there's a lot of people that have controversial opinions about somebody like Jeff Bezos of Amazon. Think of how convenient he's made everybody's lives. There's a reason that he's making so much money doing what he's doing. And it's almost like find your own way to create or deliver that value in an equivalent way. And you can you can have that income too. You can have that money.
That's right. Same with Elon Musk, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us about ProAdvisor Coach. What is that about?
Yeah, so ProAdvisor Coach is the umbrella coach or company that I coach for. We have about 12 coaches in the inner circle, as we call it, and we're looking to grow and expand to be the most sought after coaching firm by the end of 2022 in the country. So we have a mission to bring relief and eliminate suffering in the workplace. I mean, my gosh, how much opportunity is there to do that? And just a lot of great people in this peak performance coaching company that we practice what we preach. We coach individuals, we coach business leaders, we coach entrepreneurs, but we also coach executive level teams, because we know that in a win-win-win atmosphere, that's when companies are at their best. And so many companies operate on this fear-based model and you know, check the box for just getting their job done in fear of what would happen if they didn't. We want to embody this place where there's this ownership of roles and everybody so clearly knows their role in the company, and just is on the same page with achieving the mission and vision that everybody's on board with.
Yeah, that's important for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to talk about or ask you, and I think you've addressed it a little bit, about why you do coaching, and also the fact that you help people personally, professionally, but you also said spiritually. Is that a religious thing or a mindset or what? So I'd like for you to address that if you would as well.
I think it kind of touches upon, you know, all those topics. It's nothing in particular, I guess, to answer your question, but I think if we're really being true to ourselves, there's some sort of core being within us. Some people call it God, some people call it inner being. You know, it's different for everybody, but I think we all know what it is when we feel it and when we're talking about it. And it's the same thing. It's the same concept with rebel energy. It's staying true to who we are and our path as people, but also realizing that there's something greater that's at work here. And a lot of people I work with want to find a purpose, want to really know what their life is about. And I like this quote: "You don't have to find a purpose. You just have to serve a purpose." So align yourself with something you really believe in, and that's a purposeful life right there. And I think that goes into that whole conversation with religion and spirituality and some of those more. It's a less physical, less tangible concept, but that's what most people are missing, I think.
Yes, a lot of people have trouble finding that, and I like the way you've laid that out, because I think it helps people further understand what they are seeking, and I'd be able to identify it when they find it, and I'm sure it gives them a certain comfort level. And I love your quote. That's great.
Yeah.
So, Joshua, if somebody does want to work with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
So they can email me or call me. I've shared my information. I think they're gonna roll through on the credits, right? But definitely open to having conversations. I love networking and meeting people, If somebody wants to engage in the mind scan, they can find it online for $500, but I will issue to them for free. So I'm more than happy to engage them in that process. And it's for people who are curious and want to take it to the next level, whether that be their success or their fulfillment or happiness. This is the key that unlocks everything. So I'm more than happy to engage people that way.
Wow, 500 to nothing. That's a nice discount. I like
Sure.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any message you want to leave the audience with today, Joshua?
Great question. I'd say just follow your heart. I know that sounds cliche, but over this past year, speaking from personal experience, a lot of people have had some tough years, and sure, there's been suffering in the world. I've had the best year of my life. I've followed my inner being, and I'm pursuing exactly what I want to be doing, and I'm building something. It feels like I'm building an empire here because I want to create value for the world out of all the bad that's happening. There are so many opportunities out there, and it's really about your mindset and your approach and the people you surround yourself with. So just be very aware of where you are in your life, where you would like to go, and just recognize that these external forces are just there to challenge you, to get you to the rise to the occasion. And there's plenty of opportunity to do that. So absolutely.
Great. What a timely message. Thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Diane, thank you so much for the time. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching Business Notes. We've been speaking with Joshua Greco, MindScan certified business coach. I'm your host, Diane Bogino, bringing you business ideas you can bank on.